All right, this is Richie Contartesi with the Next Play podcast with our seven-figure commission show, a series, a part of the Next Play podcast. And we have a very special guest today by the name of Jessica Hartline. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for asking me.
Yeah, absolutely. So she started as a receptionist in an insurance agency at the age of 16 and decided in 2007 to open her own agency. She started from scratch and then built up her agency to a team of 11 today. She purchased another agency in 2017 and several more purchases along the way. So she loves her community. She loves helping people. She's a single mom of 3 amazing kids that we had a nice pleasure of having a chat about before. And someone who takes pride in her work, really cares about her team, and most importantly, wants to not only get better herself and expand the things she's doing, but that she wants to help her team succeed. And that's what leadership is all about. So, Jessica, thanks so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks again for having me. Very excited.
Awesome. So let's talk about you and your agency, right? 2007, you jumped in, started from scratch. A lot of people are in that position now or have been in that position. How did you go about building your agency to what it is today?
So when I started, I told you before the show, I was a stay-at-home mom. So I had been in the insurance industry for years before. So really knew the industry, really enjoyed the time that you get to help people. And I thought there was no better time than now because I'm not making any money as it is. So to start a scratch agency, I'm not losing anything. A lot of times when people take that jump, they're having to make a choice to, take a pay cut originally and then throw everything into the business. So I was blessed to have that opportunity. Started out and was able to bring the kids to work and kind of just start from scratch. I mean, that's been 2007. And believe it or not, in that days, we still pulled out the phone book. We had phone books. So I literally can remember pulling out the phone book and just starting to call customers and, call them to quote their car insurance. So kind of started off there.
Straight from the phone book. Just straight call
right
calling
the
phone book.
Which I would not always recommend this. So when I first started, we started out and there were a lot of capital requirements for insurance agents because when companies hire you on, especially exclusive companies, they want to see that you've got, enough money for marketing, for to pay your employees, for your overhead and expenses. So we really didn't have that at the time. I mean, I didn't have a lot of money. So we were able to take out a mortgage on our house and be able to show that money in the bank. And so I think that shows you don't have to have a lot of capital to start off. I didn't have that. It was just me. A lot of my customers that I have today remember my kids being in the office in a playroom. And then I started, I hired one person and then I hired another person. So I would say some great advice that I got was from another agent who's kind of a mentor. And he said, 5 years, give it 5 years. Everything will change in the 5th year. And he was spot on with that.
What changed? What was like the big change over that?
I think really up until the 5th year, you do not really make any money. Everything goes back into the agency. So at that 5th year in the property and casualty market, I know it's different in life and financial, but in the property and casualty, those renewals start hitting. And the 5th year is really when you see a shift. And then in the 10th year, I was able to buy an agency. And so at this point, all the other Allstate agents have retired. So now I'm the only Allstate agency in town. So
nice.
Love that. Love that. And I told you it went so full circle because this last agency I purchased was where I started out being a receptionist all those years ago. So.
Oh, okay. Because I saw. Yeah. Okay. So that's wow. Okay.
That was such a full circle thing right there.
What was that like? Was that just like such an amazing moment in your life to just be
It
like, I
really,
went from receptionist, 10 years later, I bought
yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, actually, that was longer because I just bought that one in 2021. So
Oh,
that was the
21.
last
Okay.
one I bought. Yep, yep,
Okay. So what? 14 years later.
yeah.
Wow, but that's still an amazing, like, here's the big thing, like, is the sticking to it, right? A lot of people start
Yes,
businesses and they don't even last 90 days, let
that's so
alone,
true.
what are you at?
Yeah,
You're 16 years. And that's a lot to say. Maybe it's 17,
mhm.
something along those lines.
It's a lot of years. We don't need to add.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, that goes to show, like, you said the 5-year mark, and like, in my industry, it's the 3-year mark. Like, if you can get
Okay.
3 years in,
Yep.
uh, is usually when it hits and everything
Okay.
changes. And so I love that. So okay. So today, let's talk about, how are you, how are you currently, like, running your team and your organization? Like, how does it look? What does that look like?
So about 2.5, 3 years ago, um, the business kept growing and growing and growing. And when you acquire other agencies, you're acquiring them, your retention automatically is going to drop a little bit because you've got people that are leaving just because they were friends with the previous owner, even though the rates were
Yep.
climbing and climbing. And so I purchased 4 agencies between 2018 and 2021. So retention was a big issue. Trying to
But client
grow.
retention, not like the employee.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
Well, yeah, employee retention too, but um, client retention for sure was a big issue for us. And then being an Allstate agent, they are very growth driven. So when you have a large agency, to be able to grow that requires a lot more new business, obviously, and it requires you to get a grip on your retention.
Yeah.
So that has been our goal really since 2018. Before that, it was just grow, grow, grow. It was a scratch agency, so it was very easy to grow.
Right.
The bigger it gets, the harder that gets, right? Just
Yeah.
because, if you take that 10% automatic that you're going to lose every year, that goes up a little bit more if rates in Florida we talked about are
Yeah.
really difficult right now. There's challenges there. So what we did was I actually hired a sales consultant a few years ago, and we have very clear goals for our team. We've done it 2 different ways. We've done a separate sales department and a separate service department,
Yeah.
and had goals set out. We have we do the 12-week year. Have you ever read the book, The 12-Week Year, or heard that
I
concept?
haven't. What is
Okay.
that?
Yeah. So the concept is you take the year and you break it into 12 quarters. So every week is a month, and you really are able to break down the goals. So you have a reset every 3 months. It really helps your sales team because a year feels so long.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
look at, yeah, so it just breaks it down into smaller chunks.
Love that.
And so we're kind of doing the same thing now. We change things up January 1st. So everybody has a combined sales and service goal. That's their role. And everybody has their responsibilities as far as new policies that they need to sell. And
Yep.
as you know, everything it's all numbers. So in order to sell that many, they need to quote this many. You need to talk to this many, which means you need to make this many calls. So
Yep.
we really have it drilled down to, how much talk time they need to have in order to reach their goals.
So you have all the activities in place. You have the
All the
structure.
activities.
Well, how
Yeah,
did
and
you go
we do
ahead?
weekly meeting. No, we do weekly meetings. We do Monday morning. We everybody has to talk about their goals. Monday mornings aren't fun anyway. So if you've had a great week, you want to go first. You want to talk about how awesome your week was and how you killed it. And if not, it's a Monday morning anyway. So yeah, go ahead and get
Love
that
that.
out of the way.
Awesome. So you have Monday morning meeting with the team. Like, how did you
Yeah.
go about, for the listeners, how did you go about implementing some of these systems in place, the KPI tracking,
Yeah.
knowing the actual numbers to to hit, all the way from here's the result we need to get to, here's how much call time you need to have, here's how many calls you need to have. How did you go about implementing that with your team?
So that was always something that I struggled with.
Yeah.
Honestly, that was never been easy
Good
for
for
me.
you for having it in place then. Just like,
Well, so what I did was I, about 2 years ago, hired a sales consultant.
yeah,
So I had talked to her about 3 years before, and there's an expense associated with that, and I just thought, it's expensive. I can take that money. I can do this myself. And after about a year, I thought, okay, this is not working. I'm not doing it myself. So I hired her, and she helped put these into place. So I would love to take all the credit and say it was my brainchild. It was not. But I definitely saw an area I was weak in and hired someone to help with that. And the results have been, I pulled up our, last year, we were 150% over prior year. This year, yeah, it was, it's awesome. And then this year, Allstate has taken away some of our biggest markets. We can't write home, we can't write condo, but even our auto, we're up 63% over prior year. So, those results are phenomenal. So if I would definitely recommend somebody hiring a coach. If you're weak in an area, find somebody that can help.
Totally. I'm with you on that. I think,
Yeah.
Especially when you're first starting out, the bootstrapping, the trying to figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
But at some point in time, it's like, if you're not good in the area, putting someone in place there that can solve a big problem and do it like that,
right,
is typically worth the investment with an ROI, right? So I love that.
It is, yeah. And I've learned so much from her. So, at some point, I'm sure she's not going to want to do it anymore. And I have the knowledge now to be able to implement that myself.
I love that. Okay, cool. And so what are some other things that you feel like, I love that you're putting in place with your team. What are some other things that you did along this journey to really build your agency to where it is today? Or what would you say is like maybe 1, 2, or 3 things that you did that you're like, yeah, this was a huge, reason for our success?
So I would say, as far as like lead generating, we've done it all. We've done the warm transfers, we've done the mailers, we've done cold calls. So one of what we're currently doing is cross-selling everything we can possibly cross-sell. We are calling within our book, and it's easier to do that when you have a large agency. You've got a lot right there between your win backs, between your cross-sale, and then just, the community awareness. Word of mouth, we do a lot of asking for referrals, a lot of partnering with real estate agents and mortgage brokers. I've listened to some of your past episodes too. A lot of people do that. I think the quality of those leads are huge. That, those are our ideal customers typically, and getting a referral is has a much higher close ratio. Totally. So I would say I started early with building those relationships in the community, the real estate agents. We have a realtors association here. So I was very active in that, and just getting to meet people and being available whenever they needed help. And when you're first starting out, you get all the really challenging scenarios, right? Like I've got, this house was built in 1910. It's basically falling apart. I'm like, no problem. We got this. We'll find something for you. So yeah, just building those relationships. I think that's been huge.
Yeah. I think acquisition is like always a challenge, right? And so do you still, of all those different acquisition channels that you mentioned, do you still do any outside outreach as well? Or is it purely just calls with like what you mentioned there? Are you still running ads or buying leads or anything like that? Or is that all, you're not doing any of that?
Yeah, it's all organic right now, actually, and that's that. Like I said, we're 63% over prior year.
Wow,
So
that's amazing. Awesome.
yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah,
Do you foresee yourself going into that into the future, or do you feel like at this point you can
I
continue
do.
to grow?
Yeah, no, we are definitely gonna have to go. I mean, 63% is great, but it's still not where we need to be. So we're going to have to ramp it up. I think one of the challenges that we face, we're in a very rural community. So finding employees is very difficult. The ones that we
Yeah.
have, they've been there for a long time with me, and I'm very blessed to have an awesome team for sure. But in order to grow the agency, I'm going to need to hire more people, and so that's a little bit of a challenge right now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that, and then like we talked about, motivating the team.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
cannot I
Totally.
cannot be the only agency owner that struggles with
No.
how do you keep your staff focused and motivated.
Yeah. Well, what are
Yeah.
some things like has your sales consultant done any things with you to continue to motivate the team or keep them engaged, or what are some of the things that you've tried to this point?
So she shares my frustration, and so sometimes so our Monday morning meetings, I bring breakfast in. I mean, they are on Monday morning, so I understand not everybody's energy is super high on Monday mornings. But we do a lot of games and challenges during the quarters. So, during
Hmm.
that 3 month period, we do those. We usually do a kickoff at the beginning of the year and kind of set out the plan for the year. This is what it's going to look like. This is our theme for the year.
Yeah.
And so we do try to do the end of every quarter. We kind of reset. We do a group activity, whether we've done axe throwing, we've gone and when it was all just women, we'd go get pedicures. Now the guys don't like that quite as much, but we just go out and grab margaritas and get food. So
Yeah.
we do try to do stuff to build us up, but just the day to day can get super monotonous.
Hmm.
Here in Florida, again, we're dealing with so many companies going out of business and the rates literally doubling and tripling on homeowners insurance. So
Right.
it's very hard to maintain a positive mindset when they're getting bombarded day after day by negativity.
Right.
So just finding a way to help them, I guess, would be good,
Rightfully.
because yeah, the more full of energy they are, the more positive they are, that transfers over to customers. And that really helps with sales. You cannot be a good salesperson with low energy.
No.
It does not
No.
exist. No.
No. Are you do you lead and manage your sales team, or do you have
Yeah.
someone in that role?
Yeah. Nope. So I still am there. I'm very present in the office. I'm there every day. I have I have my sales manager that kind of manages numbers for me. So she'll send out daily numbers and just kind of showing everybody on a daily basis where everybody's at and what their
Yeah.
goals are, how far short they are, how far over they are on their goals. So I have her help me out with that. And then the sales consultant that kind of helps us set the goals, set the activities.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
would
So you
say
do have a sales manager that manages the
I
team as
do.
well? Okay.
Mhm. Yeah. So between
Does
she and I, we do it together.
love that. Okay. And do you both sell? Do you sell as well still or no?
I sell, if I have a customer or a friend that calls, I will typically pass it off to someone in my sales team.
Got it.
And then kind of I'm the liaison there. And I do some commercial, I do some financial services, but I really try to manage for the most part.
Beautiful. So you're wanting to sit more in the leadership role. Okay.
I mean, you really have to when you get to a certain size
Totally.
agency. I would love to sit and talk to Mrs. Jones about how her grandchildren are doing because I love that. That's why I got into this industry in the first place.
Totally.
But my results will suffer if I do that day in and day out.
Totally. Couldn't agree more. And so, and is your sales manager a player coach as well? Is she managing the team and selling too?
She manages the team and she handles small customer service and customer complaints. So
Got it.
she's with us Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So she's part time.
Got it.
And she kind of keeps them on track. And like I said, is kind of the step between that customer getting to me. But if it needs to be escalated, she can handle that.
Totally. Okay, got it. Okay, love it. So where is the energy or the motivation showing up the most? Like, where are you seeing, what KPIs, maybe is a better question, are you seeing this come through, or is this just something you're feeling in the office?
I am seeing it in low sales results for certain CSRs.
Okay.
So I'm seeing it there, but I'm also feeling it. I'm sensing it. And I think it's very
Yeah.
important for agency owners to, I know there are some very successful ones. They must have great management to be able to not be present. But the feeling you get when you go in, I mean, for me, that's huge. And you can definitely feel the energy is low.
Yeah. Okay. Now, with these CSRs, how often, I know you have your Monday meeting,
Mhm.
but do you have any
Yeah.
other type of like set
Yeah, we
meeting?
do. We do. So we have it set up. They kind of have their quiet time between 8 and 8:45 where they can catch up on underwriting. They're not taking any incoming calls. We typically don't get a lot of walk-ins that time of the morning. So it's kind of just a time for them to look at their day, look at their scorecard and see, if they're falling short in any of their activities to kind of keep themselves on track for the week. And then we do about a 10 to 15-minute call Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays.
Okay. Do you do any one-on-one sessions with
Mhm.
them?
Yeah, I do one once a quarter, and then kind of the end of the quarter we'll meet one on one. And then if I see somebody that's kind of struggling or just feel like that or hear chatter around the office, then I'll try to do some one on ones with them as well.
Got it. Okay. And those, what are those sessions like? You know, let's say you're a CSR, you could just feel it, their numbers aren't doing well, you know, how do those sessions typically go?
So it usually, and my sales manager will a lot of times be the first person to kind of sit there and say, "Hey, what's going on? It looks like you're a little bit low on your numbers." She'll show them, your call volume is here, your quote volume is here. This is what you need to do to get it where it needs to go.
Yep.
Um, so, and that helps with knowing, but it doesn't really help with, I guess, the emotional side of it of why they're low in the first place. I mean, we can ask, what's going
Yeah.
on with you, but a lot of times people don't want to tell you that.
Totally.
They don't want to. Yeah,
Well, why do you think that is? Why do you feel like they don't want to share it?
I think it's probably personal, right? They probably have personal stuff going on that maybe they're uncomfortable with.
Okay.
It's very easy for people to bring their personal life into the office as much as we're not supposed to.
For
It's
sure.
it's hard to draw that line. So, um, and I think that the day-to-day stress of the job and the monotony, I mean, it can be very monotonous as well. So
Totally.
I think a combination of those things.
Okay. Have you ever done any commitments with your team? What do I mean by that? Like if you were to ask your sales manager, a CSR that's not doing well, um, does your sales manager, they know their sales goals, but
Yes.
does that manager know why that person is in the role that they're in and what they want to get out of it as far as personal goals? So
Mhm.
and the reason I ask this is because in sales, it's very
Mhm.
similar to entrepreneurship in the fact that you make a commission, you make
Correct.
extra money.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, like if you're in sales, you got to have conviction, you got to love your product, you got to believe in it or forget it.
Mhm.
And so I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is a lot of times in sales, it's also the vehicle that will take people to achieving things they want in their life, right? The
Right.
freedom, legacy, what have you. And so, one of the things, and this would be on the front end, just the first initial thought, and you can talk through it, is a lot of sales leaders that we talk to or that we work with, I'll ask them the question, hey, John's struggling. Can I ask you, like, what does John want to achieve in his life?
Yeah.
And they don't know. And I'm not saying that for you. I'm just sharing with you. And so as a result of that, in a leadership role, I believe that our role is to help the people on our team to know what they want and then to do everything in our power to help them achieve it. And the vehicle to doing that, Jessica, is your agency, is working with you, because you're going to help them get there. And I already know that that's how you feel.
Absolutely.
And so a lot of times they'll lose sight of what they want, and like the sales goals and numbers are so critical and important. That would be my first question is, do you feel like everyone's really clear on, here's what I want to achieve in my life and here's why? We'll start there. What are your thoughts?
I would say they are absolutely not clear on that. I have a few that are very clear on what they want. And we have done that exercise. We didn't do it this year. We did it at the beginning of last year, and kind of did vision boards and had everybody say, okay, what do you want to achieve? And here's how you can achieve it if we break down, sales. And some people that really resonated with. And it was interesting that some people are really not very driven. At that point in the agency, it was not as critical of an issue because I had separate customer service and sales goals. So They were great customer service. But now that they've transitioned into sales, that lack of drive, it is not translating very well over to the sales world.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. So, and unfortunately, we say this a lot. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So,
no, not in sales.
Yeah. But I do think that conversation, helping people. I think that these people don't have. Some of these people don't have. They've never really been taught how to have goals in their life. And they just didn't really want it for themselves. So I guess a way to kind of,
and you can't, and just to make you feel better, there's nothing you can do about that. Like you can help them, but Jessica, would you agree that it is and you're doing such a good job of this? I mean, would you agree that it is your responsibility as the business owner to be a damn good coach and to help the people on your team figure out what it is that they want in their life?
Yes.
And you talk about retention. It's like that. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Employee retention hasn't been a huge challenge. We've done a pretty good job of keeping our employees, but I 100% agree. I need to do a better job in coaching them. And in, we have a great relationship. I feel like some of them have been with me so long, they feel like family. So we have a really good relationship, but as far as coaching them and really giving them the tools to find out what their goals are, hopefully they do have some, I could use some help there, to be honest.
Yeah. So here's my thought. Let me, I'm going to share something with you. So this is something, whether we're working with a 9-figure corporate client or small business owner. In my business, we do this. I'm going to show you an example, but we do this every quarter, Jessica, and we do this because people forget and they lose sight.
Right.
And what are they dealing with all day? They're getting rejected. They're getting negativity. They're their boyfriend broke up with them. They're getting like all these different things that happen
All
in
the
life.
things.
Right, all the things. Um,
Yeah.
and so, as humans, like our focus is lost. And so it sounds to me like you've got great sales training, you got a sales consultant, you've got the KPIs in place.
Mhm.
And just so you know, you're like, that's why you've built what you've built today. And I've seen your number, like you're doing a really good job. And I think like the next step for that is adding in the like you said, the coaching, the
Mhm.
accountability, the getting them to the next level in their life. And
Mhm.
it makes recruiting really easy too. So here's my thought. Okay. So this is something that we teach. It's called a commitment.
Uh-huh.
And so basically, it's something that I do with my team. We teach with all of our clients to do, and you do it every single quarter, which is perfect for you because you
Mhm.
live on a quarterly basis. And basically, the first question is you're asking them, what do they want to achieve in their life? And so the first time you do it, you want to know from a grander scale, like what do you want to achieve?
Okay.
And then
Mhm.
every quarter, it's what do you want to achieve this quarter? Like in your life, because like in the beginning, they're going to say financial freedom, legacy, whatever that is. Okay, cool. The second thing is, why is this really important to you? And what will it do for you? So just helping them get clear on like, why is this important and what will this do for you, so that I know you talked about the vision board, they can actually paint a picture of what the heck this actually looks like. And
Mhm.
so as you're going through this, you may find that people on your team don't know, like you said.
Yeah.
And I truly believe as the business owner, we have this responsibility to
Mhm.
help people find that, because no one else will.
I
No one else,
agree. Yeah. That's
you know.
awesome. Mhm.
So that's the second thing. The third thing is what's holding you back or keeping you from achieving this. What's been holding you back? What's stopping you?
Mhm.
And the really important word that you want to put there is controllable, because
Mhm.
I will tell you from experience, people who've never done this before will start talking about all the things that this person in this circumstance and this, you know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah. That they
anything.
have no control over.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
So what's holding you back that's controllable? And really it's getting them to focus on the thing, really the activities they know they should or could be doing that they're not. Right.
Yeah.
Um, and then from there, it's, on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to achieving that? On a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to the process? Right? You have the process in
Mhm.
place.
And it's all about the process.
Yeah,
It
you
is
have.
literally, yeah, the activities and the process. They will, and getting them to understand these activities will lead to the results. Just do the activities, because we all do it. We get stuck on this big number at the end. Whereas if they just say, okay, well, that's only this many calls per day, it's really a small number.
Right.
So I love that. I love the 1 to 10.
Yeah. It's because this
I,
is.
I feel like when you first start, it might be, a 6 or 7, but I feel like if you do this consistently, that number goes up, right?
It should. And if it doesn't, at least you're in a
Yeah.
position, Jessica, where you can make a educated and data-driven decision
Mhm.
on what to do.
Sure. Yep.
Because if
Exactly. Yeah.
someone
I love
says
that.
I'm a 3 on achieving my vision and I'm a 2 on the process, we need to do some serious coaching with this person, or
Yeah.
we need to move off, right? Because it's just
Yeah.
not the right.
Yeah.
But at least
No, not right.
whereas it's not like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and
I
then
love that.
the rest of this is about expectations. And so
Mhm.
we have 5 core values and the expectations based on those core values out of you. Okay. So you've put this on here. I love that. And I want to do everything in my power, Jessica, to help you achieve this. But in order for me to coach you and work with you and get you there, I do have some expectations. The team has some expectations of you. And so here's our expectations. And are you willing to live up to this? and they either agree or they don't. If they don't, then that's another opportunity for you to, create, as you're building this culture of consistency and this culture of accountability and this culture of living your life, living the dream, whatever that is for you. You have expectations of them and they have expectations of you, and that has to be clear. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I love that.
And then at the bottom of this sheet, when you go through this exercise, and this is the key, is they've got to sign it.
Yeah.
So at the very bottom, like that, they print their name and they sign it, and you put it up on the wall. And so now it's
you put it on the wall.
Oh, you put it up 100%. So we have them up on
for everybody to see.
For everybody to see. Yeah.
So everybody can see everybody else's.
100%. They made a commitment, because here's the thing. These are called commitments, right? They're making a commitment not only to themselves, right? Because people won't. They won't make a commitment to themselves.
Yeah.
But they're also making a commitment to the team, right? They're making a commitment. I'm a part of a team.
To each other,
and to each other. And so, the first time you do this, because it's more like life, I've never had any issues with putting them up, but, you just let them know that this is going to go up. So just so they know, but 100%, because here's the thing. Or go ahead. You
no, I love that. I actually am, thinking in my mind where I'm at in our 12 weeks. So I'm very much get started right away. So I think
you don't wait. You could do it right away.
You don't wait. No. Yeah. You got to start right away. So
yeah, because even if you can make this first one, like, when's the 12 weekend? When does it end?
It'll be, we started a little bit late. So I think we've got about 4 more weeks, about another month. But I think that's still saying, because the thing with us is we just transitioned in January. So it's going to be really good for me to have a starting point. So I could do it whenever, and then we'll do it again at the end of the 12 weeks and just kind of get us back on track.
100%. It's got to be quarterly, because, in the beginning we did it yearly, and people it gets,
it's too long.
Yeah. It slowly gets put to the wayside, and they forget.
And then your goals, you're already, the year is gone. Whereas if you do, I think quarterly is huge. If anybody is not doing quarterly, highly recommend, because it gives you so many opportunities to reset and get back on track with your goals. It's, I use the analogy a lot. I told you one of my sons is going to be a commercial airline pilot. So one of the things, when they plug in their coordinates on where they're going, it's a constant getting back on track. And I think that doing it every 12 weeks, a serious sit down conversation, in addition to all those little ones going on throughout the week, right? But doing it once a quarter just really keeps everybody focused.
Yeah. And we teach to do it as a team. So you get a conference table, and everyone does it together. I go around. So the first one, boom, everyone go and do a share. The second question, everyone write it down, then share. Third one.
I love that. I like that a lot. Instead of doing it one-on-one, I really like that.
Yeah. You do it as a team.
Okay.
So, all right, cool. I know we're coming up on time, but I feel like this is a really good next play, right? There's a lot of things we could go through, but I feel like this is a good next play. What do you think?
Agreed. Yeah, it's going to happen. Probably this week going to happen. So
I love it.
Love that.
So every next play has to have a what, a how, and a when. So I guess the what is implementing, a commitment. What's the how? How are you going to go about implementing this?
We're going to probably do it on our Monday morning meeting. So I think what we'll do is we'll change things up a little bit for the Monday morning meeting, which is also changing things up is a good way to increase energy and do something unexpected. So I think we'll change it up and we'll do that. So that'd be the when and how.
Love that. Okay, cool. That covers it all. Awesome. Yeah. I love it. I love your drive. I love your commitment. I love your jumping in and getting it done. Awesome. Well, Look, Jessica, I really seriously appreciate you being on the show and sharing your story and how
No.
you've had so much success. And also, you know, what, like, it just shows why you've had so much success, because not only did you come here to share your story, but you came here like, I want to get better. And
Mhm.
the people that do that are the ones that continue to grow and blow up. So it's been an absolute pleasure. And you know, if anyone wants to reach out or they're interested in working with you or your services, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
So we are, as I mentioned, in Florida, so we can serve anybody anywhere in Florida. And you can reach out to me through my email. We've got Facebook, we've got LinkedIn. I think I shared all those with you, Instagram. So
Awesome.
any social, our website as well. So
Perfect. And I'll put all of her social links in the description of this podcast. So feel free to check there. Or you know, just type in Jessica Hartline. All right, cool.
yes,
Awesome.
yep. Find us. All right, Richie, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much, and look forward to
Absolutely.